Somebody give Joao Felix a reality check here because my man is pushing for signings for a club that he may or may not be playing for next season. Look at this. Joao Felix says, I hope Barca sign Bernardo Silva. He's a top player, top guy. He's always asking about Barcelona, how his family would be there, and he's told them it's all perfect and set for him to join us. My man, who's us? Last time I checked, you are on loan to the end of the season, and then you're going back to Madrid with Atletico. So, I don't know who you're saying us, because we both know that Barcelona are financially, in debt. And, that is a polite way to say it, because these guys are just virtually broke. It is one of the first clubs I've ever seen that are considered a giant, right? They are in the best 8 right now in the world, right, of clubs, because they are in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. But still, these lads could not sign a peanut if they could. They are having troubles finding a replacement for Xavi because the ideal one has a 10 million release clause. 10 million. When have you heard of a club that as big as Barcelona have a problem with the 10 million release clause? And they're expecting to go after a guy with a 50 million release clause. And it seems like it's all or nothing for Barcelona this summer because he has a release clause just valid for only this summer of 50 million because he did extend till 2026 with Manchester City. Now, I'm pretty sure Bernardo Silva put this in the contract because he wanted to leave after this season. And he was hoping that Barcelona could get the funds, which in my opinion is not completely impossible. I think if Barcelona was smart, they could easily get 50 million for Bernardo Silva. However, let's say 60 million for Joao. Let's say 50 million for Joao Felix and 40 million for Joao Cancelo, which I think is very important for them to do if they want to have success now. Now, what I mean by success now is because you're going to have an established Champions League treble-winning player in Bernardo Silva. You're going to have Joao Cancelo, who's a serial winner. You're going to have Joao Felix, who's a decent talent, all for the price of one or two players here. And you know what I'm going to say right here? Is this. Look at this Barca team. Joao Cancelo, I believe he has to stay. Recently Balde has not been available. And that has led to Cancelo being a fundamental part, and I believe he has performed. He's one of the reasons why they're in the quarterfinals. He did well against Napoli. Marcos Alonso's a lot older. Here, Martinez, he's done well. The lad has come in and filled in well. Jules Koundé has been doing a job at right back. You have Araujo here as well. Now, I think it's fundamental to have depth. And the thing about Joao Cancelo is he could play both sides. So you're definitely going to need to keep him somehow, some way. And I believe, 30, 40 million could get the job done there with City. Now, this is where it comes to the selling part. I believe you got to sell one of these two guys and you can get a minimum of 80 million. Minimum 80 million for one of these two guys in Pedri and Gavi. And I know you might be saying, oh, you can't sell them. They're fundamental parts of the group. Lads, let me tell you something. Barcelona have not relied on these guys much this season due to injuries. And right now, you could get a solid 80, 90 million for any of these two players. In my opinion, I value Frankie de Jong more than I value Pedri and Gavi. And then the following season, you're going to be able to have one of these two guys with De Jong, Gundogan, and Bernardo Silva. Instead of having to put a guy who's played fullback for most of his Barca career in the midfield like they have been doing in the past. And also, Romeu and Lopez here have done decent when they come in and fill in. But recently, these two lads have just fallen out of the order due to, injury problems. So in my opinion, I go out there and I sell one of these two lads. Now, here's more selling. Lewandowski, you're gone. I'm selling him to Saudi Arabia. You could get a solid 50 million. You could get 100 million for Rafinha from Al Hilal. You can get, 20, 30 million for Ferran Torres. You also have the likes of Yamal coming into the ranks. You keep Joao Felix. You bring in more wingers for cheaper value. And you could easily make a lot of money here. For lads that Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Ferran Torres are not, in my opinion, at Barca's level. Maybe Rafinha, but Robert Lewandowski is older. And Ferran Torres isn't that good. in my eyes, I see, you know, the likes of Joao Felix, Yamal, and then you go look at the transfer market for better wingers, and even Bernardo Silva could play on the wing, and you could have Gundogan, Frankie de Jong, and Gavi or Pedri, whoever you decide not to sell, with the front line of Bernardo Silva, Joao Felix, and Yamal, which I see as the way better starting 11. You make a profit as well. You keep these loan players and you bring in a serial winner like Bernardo Silva, and this is a team that can compete with the likes of Real Madrid. Not the one right now where you have Pedri and Gavi always down on injury. You rely on these lads, but instead you're having other lads come in, and then you have assets that are worth 80, 90 million, close to 100 million just sitting on the injury reserve. In my opinion, I send them to City or Arsenal or whatever team is willing to pay for them, and that would be the only way I see Bernardo Silva coming to Barcelona. If not, forget about it, lad. You're wasting your whole career at Man City. So your dream of Barcelona may not come true, and Joao Felix is making, he's trying to sell Bernardo Silva onto a team that he may not even be a part of the following season. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos. Make sure to comment down below if you would sell the lads I have just listed, or would you keep them and say goodbye to Bernardo Silva's transfer clause that is only valid this summer? Let me know in the comments down below.